Good evening and welcome to the regular session of council. It is Thursday, November the 6th, 2025, and I will call this meeting to order. Remind members, you got Councilor Emerson on the line?
Yes.
Okay. Remind members of any disclosures of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. None noted. Section 3, review of items not listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have one walk-on tonight for closed session, potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals. QP.
Thank you very much. Section 4, announcements. Any announcements from members of council? Okay, I have a couple. The first one is that I want to acknowledge that Councillor Froese is absent this evening. There's been a death in the family, which explains why he's not here. So our condolences go to him, the family, and that's enough said. Second announcement is this weekend there will be 2 cenotaph ceremonies in Bayham. The first one will occur on Sunday, November the 9th at 11 a.m. in Vienna at the Cenotaph. And the second one will occur at 1 p.m. At the Cenotaph in Port Burwell. So if you're able and wanting to attend, please do. Brings us to section 5. Councillor Chilcott.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to that at 12:45, there'll be a small procession leaving from the Legion to the Cenotaph in Port Burwell.
Thank you very much.
And just one final comment, a reminder that the municipal office is closed next Tuesday for Remembrance Day.
All right, thank you. Now we'll go on with section 5. Presentations. This evening we have the Waterfront Photo Contest Awards to present. And if the Deputy Mayor would join me up front, perhaps Megan, you could announce the winners.
Yes, Your Worship. I'm just going to run through a little bit here to give a background. So the photographers of the Otter Valley partnered with Bayham's Waterfront Advisory Committee, the Elmer Express, and the Stratfordville Library to host a waterfront photo contest. The contest ran from June 15th to September 22nd, where images were submitted and judged on regional significance, originality, technical excellence, composition, overall impact, and artistic merit. There were 4 prizes. First prize for $100, second prize $75, third prize $50, and fourth prize $25. So we have asked the placers to be present tonight to receive their awards. So in 4th place, we have Mike Emberson, and here is his photo, and it was titled Beautiful Port Burwell East Beach. And if Mike is in attendance and he'd like to come up, please do so. I don't see Mike, so we'll move to the next one. 3rd place is Stacy Scott, and this is the photo, and the title was Feather at Sunset.
Yeah. On behalf of the Waterfront Advisory Committee, congratulations.
Bad spot. You couldn't see us from both. Absolutely. Next one.
2nd place is Destiny Moore, and it's called The Ripple Effect. And I don't think Destiny's with us. We'll move to the next. And our 1st place is Virginia Wymanga, or Wymanga. I'm sorry, I might have said that wrong. And the title is The Old Pier.
All right.
Yes. Well, we'll move back over.
Congratulations. Very well.
Yes, congratulations.
Want to do another one first?
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was just a short presentation to showcase the winners. And we definitely thank all the efforts of everybody involved. And later on the agenda, we actually have a request from the Waterfront Advisory Committee to put funds towards doing this again next year if the photographers of the Otter Valley are interested to do that again.
Thank you very much, Megan. Again, on behalf of council, I want to congratulate all those who participated. You're all winners in my book, and but thank you very much. It just showcases the beauty we have down along our waterfront, and certainly appreciate it. So consider it again for another year. We have a motion that reads that the Waterfront Photo Contest Awards presentation be received for information. I need a mover and seconder, and I can't see Councillor Emerson. So Councillor Chilcott will move, Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That's good.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on with section 7, adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting. We have the regular meeting of council held October the 16th, 2025. Everyone's had opportunity to peruse those minutes. Any errors or omissions? Okay, then I would like or entertain a mover and seconder for the following, that the minutes from the regular meeting of council held October the 16th, 2025 be approved as presented. Deputy Mayor Weiser will move. Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Going down to section 12, development services, sustainability and conservation, 12.1 correspondence and 12.11 to receive for information. 3 notices. Item A, notice of passing regarding zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 1425, Countryside Communities Incorporated. Item B, notice of public meeting regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 2225. And item C, notice of public meeting regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 2325 Heritage Grown Inc. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of these notices? If not, I'd entertain a mover and seconder for the following, that items 12.11A through C be received for information. Councillor Chilcott, seconded by Deputy Mayor Weiser, all in favor? Carried.
Yes.
Twelve point two, reports to council. Item A, report DS 4425 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding consent application E6125 Rempel at 6657 and 6659 Plank Road.
And your worship and Marg, if I may just take a small pause to try and fix this technical error.
Recess so early. All good?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for your patience. Marg, please.
Thank you, your worship, and through you to council. The report before you for consent application E61-25 Rempel is for consideration to sever a semi-detached dwelling located at 6657 and 6659 Plank Road in Vienna. They are proposing to sever a parcel to create one residential lot, hence splitting the semi-detached unit, And the lands are designated residential in our official plan and designated Village Residential 1R1 in our zoning bylaw. The Elgin County Land Division Committee will consider the application on November the 26th. So the planner's memorandum attached to the report dated October 28 analyzes the application subject to our own official plan and zoning bylaw. The separation of the semi-detached dwelling is an acceptable proposal, providing the application meets official plan and zoning regulations and policies. Specifically pertaining to drainage, an engineered stormwater management drainage plan is required. Each unit must contain their surface water or connect to a legal outlet and not permit water to drain to neighboring properties or to the county road. A connection to the Soper Road drain may be possible pending confirmation of the current design capacity, all to be determined through engineering. Under the Drainage Act, this would fall under Section 78, a major improvement. And at the appropriate time, the owner will find the notice of request for major improvements from the OMAFRA, which is the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs website, and they can complete that form for submission. The process is considered basically the same as initiating a new petition under Section 4 of the Drainage Act. So staff and municipal planner, we recommend the support of the consent application for the severance with the recommended conditions before you. And I leave it to you, Your Worship, for any questions.
All right, thank you very much, Marg, for that report. Does anyone have any concerns, questions regarding this application? Okay, seeing or hearing none. We have a motion that reads, the report DS 4425 regarding the consent application E6125 submitted by Ben Rempel be received, and that council recommends to Elgin County Land Division Committee that consent application E6125 proposing the creation of a new lot be granted subject to the following conditions and considerations. Number one, that the owner initiate and assume, if required, all engineering costs associated with the preparation of a stormwater management drainage plan and works to the subject lands to the approval of the municipality and the county engineering departments, including identifying a legal drain outlet and the preparation of a revised assessment schedule in accordance with the Drainage Act, RSO 1990, as amended, with a deposit to be paid in full to the municipality prior to the condition being fulfilled, if required. Note that if a revised assessment schedule is required and the deposit does not cover the costs of the revised assessment schedule, the owner will be billed for any additional costs incurred. Item 2, that the owner provides appropriate access for each parcel onto Plank Road to the satisfaction of the county and provide any applicable documentation, plans, and permits to the satisfaction of the county and copies to the municipality. Item 3, that the owner provides confirmation from a qualified septic designer on the location of each private septic system to ensure the locations meet Ontario Building Code requirements for setbacks from property lines. Item 4, that the owner resolves the non-conforming deck either by removal, reconstruction to meet zoning standards, or application and approval of a minor variance to legalize its location. Item 5, that the owner pays fees as required in bylaw number 2025-007, cash in lieu of parkland for the creation of a lot to the municipality. Item 6, that the owner provides a digital copy of a survey of the subject lands. And item 7, that the owner provides a planning report fee payable to the municipality upon the granting of the consent. Do we have a mover and seconder for that? Deputy Mayor Weiser will move. Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. There you go. Moving on then with item B, which is report DS 4525 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding consent application E5825 and E 5925 J&S Family Farms, Inc. at 15 Oak Street. Mark.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to council. This report is for consideration of two consent applications to create two separate lots from the property identified as 15 Oak Street. The lands are designated as residential in our official plan and Village Residential 1 R1 in our zoning bylaw. The Elgin County Land Division Committee will consider these applications on November the 26th. The planner's memorandum attached dated October 28 analyzes the application subject to the Bayham official plan and our zoning bylaw, and the report highlights two key issues. Parcel A has a lot frontage of 22 meters and a lot depth of 40.6 meters. As per the applicant's severance sketch, there is one existing garage located on parcel A, which will be required to be removed as a condition of approval. Parcel B has a lot frontage of 21.3 meters and a lot depth of 38.9 meters. The survey of the subject property and adjacent lands provided by the applicant demonstrates that the air conditioning unit and eaves of the roof on the single detached dwelling located at 24 Fulton Street encroach onto parcel B. Notwithstanding that 24 Fulton Street has an existing rectangular area carving into the subject property 9.272 meters from Fulton Street lot line, and that encompasses the building footprint. The existing water servicing connection to 24 Fulton also crosses the western property line of parcel B to reach the portion of the building within this rectangular carve-out. As a condition of approval, an easement will be required along the western property line of parcel B to address these encroachments. Driveway access for parcel B from Fulton Street is a concern for municipal staff given the restrictive sight lines. However, county staff will provide comments and recommendations to the Land Division Committee on access from County Road 41, also known as Fulton Street. A driveway access from Oak Street will require a road access permit from the municipality, and we have no concerns. Staff are also aware of landscaping encroachments into the Vienna Community Park, including armor stone and vegetation associated with 15 Oak Street and the abutting property to the west. A survey is attached, shows the affected part being Part 11, which has since been registered as Plan 11R 11261. The survey was completed in 2024 in association with Council's direction to create the 4 buildable lots on Ann Street. Staff confirmed that there is a continued presence of the encroaching landscape features in October of 2025. Options to address these encroachments include full removal at the owner's cost, an encroachment agreement, or acquisition of the affected lands. Staff recommend that the owners either remove all encroachments or acquire the encroached upon portion of Part 11 to eliminate the encroachments. The applicable parts of Part 11 with the encroachments associated with 2 properties are approximated below in the diagram included in your report. Disposition to the owners would be subject to the municipality's sale of surplus municipal lands policy. Any landscaping or other encroachments remaining on municipal land would have to be removed at the owner's sole expense. Staff and the municipal planner, we recommend support of the consent applications to create the 2 residential building lots on full services within the Village of Vienna with the recommended conditions in the report. If council is supportive of the consent and it does receive approval from the Land Division Committee, staff will also engage the owner of the abutting lands regarding acquisition of their portion of the encroached lands or the removal of all encroachments. So the abutting landowner has previously voiced an interest in acquiring their portion of it. So I leave the report and the recommendation with you, Your Worship, for any questions.
Thank you very much for that report, Margaret, as the lengthy resolution accompanies us said. Does anyone have any questions, concerns regarding this consent application, these consent applications? Mhm. All right, hearing none, then we do have a motion before us. That would be too easy. That would be too easy.
Presented.
As
As
presented.
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 But that wouldn't be fair to the viewers at home who haven't had opportunity to hear this.
We can tag team if that's.
Yeah.
needed.
Let's see if I get a little tongue-tied along the way.
Okay.
The motion reads that report DS 4525 regarding the consent applications E 5825 and E 5925 submitted by Pillen Abs Inc. on behalf of JNS Family Farms Inc. be received. And that council recommends to the Elgin County Land Division Committee that consent applications E 5825 and E 5925 propose the creation of 2 new lots be granted, subject to the following conditions and considerations. Item 1, that the owner removes the detached garage on the proposed severed lot, parcel A. Item 2, that the owner obtains approval from municipality for a road entrance permit, Oak Street, for a new access to the proposed severed lot, parcel A. Item 3, that the owner obtains approval from the County of Elgin for a road entrance permit, Fulton Street, for a new access to the proposed severed lot, parcel B. Item 4, that the owner demonstrates that an easement has been registered in favor of the lands known as 24 Fulton Street along the western portion of parcel B that addresses the existing water servicing connection to 24 Fulton Street and the encroachment of the air conditioning unit and eaves of the roof of the single detached dwelling to the satisfaction of the municipality. Item 5, that the owner obtains a permit from the municipality for the installation of a new municipal water and sanitary service connection to the proposed severed lots, parcel A and B. Number 6, that the owner provides an engineered grading, drainage, and stormwater management plan for each parcel to demonstrate that the lands will drain properly with no negative impacts on the neighboring lands or the street, all to the satisfaction of the municipality and the county. Number 7, that the owner provides confirmation with respect to the location of the existing municipal water and sanitary service connections to the retained lot. Should the existing municipal servicing laterals cross the proposed property lines or do not have sufficient clearance, the owner shall obtain a permit from the municipality for the installation of a new municipal water and sanitary service connection to the retained lot. Item 8, that the owner submits a spatial separation report to the satisfaction municipality to verify that the requirements of the Ontario Building Code can be met for the interface of the existing dwelling at 24 Fulton Street with the maximum building envelope shown in the application for parcel B. Number 9, that the owner either acquires lands from the municipality in the Vienna Community Park that have been encroached upon by landscaping features being parts of Part 11 on Plan 11R-11261, subject to the municipality's sale of surplus municipal lands policy, including survey, appraisal, and comment period, or the owner removes all encroachments from the Vienna Community Park lands at their sole expense. Number 10, that the owner pays fees as required in bylaw number 2025-007, cash in lieu of parkland, to the municipality. Number 11, that the owner provides a digital copy of survey of the subject lands. And number 12, that the owner provides a planning report fee payable to the municipality upon the granting of the consent. Hope nobody wants me to read that again. Do we have a mover and seconder for that motion? Deputy Mayor Weisler will move. Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried. I think we have time to deal with the next policy. Item C, report DS 4625 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding the civic addressing policy and road naming policy. Mark, please.
Thank you, Worship, and through you to Council. I'm quite pleased to present these 2 policies to Council. Historically, municipality has relied on the County of Elgin Municipal Addressing Program guidelines that were set out in 1994. And it did provide assistance regarding assignment of property ID numbers, hence our blue and white numbers and our numbering system that we have in the municipality. I was around at that time and it was quite a complicated exercise to get this numbering system in place. So today we've had a lot of changes in our housing. We've had changes in our economic conditions, and I felt it was necessary to bring forward something a little more updated. So before you, we have the civic addressing policy. I do note in the report that the townships of Malahide and Southold have also adopted standalone policies, and ours is very similar and was based on theirs to a point, and then I made it unique for Bayham. We don't have an official road naming policy, and so that is also attached to this report. So the proposed civic addressing policy, it retains relevant elements from the original Elgin County framework, while we incorporate updated municipal standards unique to us. It emphasizes clear procedures for assigning and communicating addresses and provides provisions for both rural and settlement areas. So the proposed civic addressing policy introduces several key updates and enhancements to better reflect our current needs and practices, with notable differences from the existing county policy, which include definitions and scope, where we are including coverage of ARUs now, which is the additional residential units, and having proper addressing for those additional dwellings, as well for gated roads, condominiums, subdivisions, and shared driveways. It provides improved clarity regarding the placement and format for address signage. It contains a formalized notification process to ensure that address changes are communicated to emergency services and utility providers in a timely and consistent manner. There's containing alignment with the next generation 911, the NG 911 standards to support improved emergency response, and also includes support for modern land use planning, including, again, subdivisions, infill development, and evolving needs such as our ARUs. The road naming policy represents a consistent approach and provides a series of principles for naming municipal roads, along with a process for notification and signage. By formalizing the notification processes, clarifying signage standards, and aligning with NG 911, the policy strengthens the consistency and quality of service delivery. It supports clear expectations for our residents, developers, and emergency responders, and it contributes to a timely and effective delivery of our municipal services. So I leave it with council for consideration and any questions.
Thank you very much for that report, Mark. I'm going to ask council for any questions, concerns. I would agree, Deputy Mayor, it's well done. Thank you for bringing this forward. Okay, seeing no questions or hearing none, we have a motion before us that reads that report DS 4625 regarding civic addressing policy and road naming policy be received for information, and that council approve the civic addressing policy and the road naming policy as presented. Do we have a mover and seconder? Deputy Mayor Weisler and Councillor Chilcott, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you.
Yes.
We have 2 minutes before we have to adjourn for a public meeting. We can maybe squeeze in the correspondence. So let's move to section 13, Finance Administration, 13.1 correspondence, 13.11 to receive for information. Number of items. Item A, Town of Plimpton, Wyoming regarding conservation fee freeze, excuse me. Item B, Municipality of Wawa regarding accessible and effective alcohol container return system in Ontario. Item C, Municipality of Blue Water regarding keep climate change as a foremost national priority. Item D, Halton Region regarding public safety requirements to protect our communities. Item E, Township of Edwardsburg, Cardinal regarding the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. Item F, City of Cambridge regarding rent protection for tenants. G, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding amendments to the Development Charges Act. Item H, County of Elgin regarding the fall 2025 Economic Development Update. And item I, County of Elgin regarding new live stream for council and committee meetings. Does anyone have any questions pertaining to these correspondence items? Councillor Chilcott.
Not a question. I would think that I would like to support the Cambridge rent protection for tenants letter.
Any other items? Essentially, what you'd be supporting would be the question, which is request the province of Ontario to provide adequate protection against excessive and malicious rent increases for all rental units occupied for residential purposes while maintaining the ability for landlords to operate a viable and sustainable business. I think that's all that's pertinent for us. The rest is just addressing. It does put the onus back on the province to figure a way to navigate through that.
So tough.
It is very tough.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any objections, Deputy Mayor, to that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I understand the concept.
Yep.
I just think it's just a very complicated issue. So, but for sure, let's hold
Okay.
the province to account.
Yep. Councillor Emerson, you're online. If you don't have any objections, we can include that for support.
No, sir. No objections.
Okay. Any other items anyone wants to talk about? All right. Then the motion reads, Madam Clerk.
Items 1311A through I be received for information, and that Council for the Municipality of Bayham supports item F.
Okay. Mover and seconder for that. Councillor Chilcott will move. Deputy Mayor Weisler will second. All in favor?
69 to
Yes.
Winnipeg with Bill Gray.
That's carried. And we will adjourn, or excuse me, we will recess to deal with the statutory planning meeting. So I will call this meeting to order at 7:32 p.m. Remind members of any disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. And this evening, we're dealing with a proposed zoning bylaw amendment, ZBA 2225 Weber at 53680 Heritage Line. The purpose of this bylaw amendment is to rezone a part of the subject property from agricultural A1 zone to a site-specific farm commercial FCXX zone to permit the construction of a new building on the subject property for the storage and distribution of feed and seed, which requires relief from the following provisions. Section 13.10.XX to zone an area of 5,329 square meters, as shown in the hatched the key map, as farm commercial FC, and section 13.3 to permit a minimum lot frontage of 20 meters, whereas 30 meters is required under the FC zone. The subject property is known as 53680 Heritage Line, north side and west of Richmond Road. The effect of this bylaw is to permit a new building for the storage and distribution of agricultural feed and seed. So at this point, we will call for any public participation who wishes to speak to this application. So anyone who wants to speak to this, please attend the podium, sign in, and have your say. Online. Okay. All right, I would note that there's been no public participation on this application. I would note that there is no correspondence associated with this application or other business. Brings us to the adjournment. that the zoning bylaw be considered at a future meeting of council and that pursuant to the Planning Act requirements, the public meeting for zoning application ZBA 2225 is now complete at 7:35 PM. Mover and seconder, Councillor Chilcott will move that. Councillor or Deputy Mayor Weiser will second that. All in favor?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Returning then to our regular agenda. 13.1.2, requiring action. Corresponds from Clara and Bio Cozy regarding water on Glen Erie. Who would like to speak to this?
Mr. Mayor, I'll speak briefly to it, and I may call upon our manager of capital projects to provide some context for this one. So correspondence received by a landowner on Glen Erie line seeking to have a water line run off of Plank and down Glen Erie to provide water service. The crux of this is that the water table has decreased along the section of Glen Erie, which has made it difficult for wells to operate. The landowner currently has water trucked in to refill a cistern on a fairly regular basis to maintain water service, and is requesting that council consider the installation of a water line along Glen Erie. Currently, the county is preparing to do works along Glen Erie line, so that road allowance will be torn up if an installation were to occur. Realistically, now would be the time to do it. However, from a staff perspective and given what is in our official plan for servicing, Port Burwell, for instance, is a Tier 1 settlement area that has full servicing. Glen Erie line falls outside of settlement boundaries, which means that it is generally not something that we would focus servicing on. We keep servicing available water and wastewater for serviced areas, and given the proximity to two Tier 1 settlement areas, being Port Burwell and Vienna, discussions with staff, we do not recommend proceeding with this request and installing a water line on Glen Erie. As I mentioned, Mr. Rolison is in the room if there are any questions, but I'll leave it with you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for discussion.
All right, thank you. Ed, would you like to attend the podium? Couple of questions that I would ask, and whether it's you I direct them to, or to either the clerk or the CAO. What's the normal process? Landowners along this line, if they wished, they should petition the municipality, or is a simple letter sufficient?
Your worship, I've actually attended and met with residents along this section probably 3 or 4 times now, actually, over the last couple of years. And the information that was communicated rather to these residents was that they should obviously bring something into council in a formal format. At the time, the residents were suggesting that they may go together on this request. Before you this evening is a request from one of the residents, one of 3, potentially 4 residents. But I think Thomas had summed it up with the details in terms of the settlement area for the serviced areas, and that this does lie outside of the settlement area.
Okay. I'm going to carry on with some questions, notwithstanding the recommendation from staff. If the project wasn't to proceed, the cost of installation, would that be borne by the requesting landowners?
Yes, your worship, that would be all the construction, the permitting, the necessary costs, including the applicable development charges, would have to be applied to each one of those new connections. Once it was constructed, the county approved. Once things were constructed, the municipality would then own that section of water service line along the county road allowance and up to the property line of each residential service connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
The landowners that you visited, Ed, they've been notified and made aware that they would be responsible for these costs?
Yes, this is correct, your worship. However, no specific numbers have been thrown around at this time. And that's why we're here this evening, to see if council wants to support and move this forward.
Having had personally some conversations with one or two of these residents in the area, and the observation that they are deficient in water, I don't know, is it worth the exercise for staff to put together some kind of estimates to identify what the costing is and let these residents make up their mind whether they wish to engage a well driller and try to redo a well, or whether it is something they wish to entertain through a pipeline. I suspect that the costs would probably be more for a water service coming in off Plank. I suspect. I don't know. That's why I'm wondering if we need to do that investigation.
Your worship, that's a valid comment. I would tend to agree with you, considering current construction costs, the albeit timing wise, with the county road being worked on, the opportunity is there. Adding in the development charges and whatnot, this does become a fairly expensive endeavor, and I feel for these folks. And there's a number of areas across the municipality that are experiencing this same thing. So really, I suggest, are you setting precedents if you approve something like this, and to what end? I know there's a number of residents beyond to the east on Glen Erie, nearly to Teal Neville, that have water issues as well. So we're like, where do you stop? Really, quite honestly, it's where you stop is if you continue as you're entering into a water main size to extend to an area that's rural.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
What I was trying to get at is, do we put the decision back onto the homeowner to decide whether this is what they want to pursue, or whether it is something that we simply say, because of policy and observance of trying to service only tier 1 or areas, what's council's pleasure? Personally, I'd like to give the resident an opportunity to look at it and say, maybe this isn't financially viable.
Oh, your worship, if I could, there's it wouldn't take much to investigate the costing. I would suggest with directional drilling, construction techniques and whatnot, and maybe some communication with county engineering, could come up with an estimate, construction estimate. Yeah.
Not looking for a class 1 estimate here, just
Yep.
a
Yep.
ballpark of what
Yep.
they're looking at. That's my preference, but again, I would defer what council's thinking.
One of
Sorry, Councilor Chilcott.
Yeah, I agree. You can't do this blindly. They need to know what the costs are, and if it's worth it, maybe there is a way of drilling a well that would be more beneficial and less expensive for them.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm just trying to explore all options for them. That's all.
Yeah, sure. And one of the other things is, you'd have to get under the rail trail.
Yes.
So there need to be some communication with Tilsonburg also as well, and just in terms of, this is what's happening under that rail trail. Yep.
Yeah. But you're right with respect to the fact that Glen Erie is going to be reconstructed over the next couple of years. The timing's right if there's anything going to be done.
Yeah.
But whether it is whether it's a cost-effective thing for these residents to take on, particularly in the light that you had, identified, DCs are still
Right.
prevalent.
Right.
with us.
Yes, and further to that, your worship, is that if these residents were serviced, then there's the appropriate they would have to take it from the property line in.
Yep.
That would be at their expense, and then there would be permitting for that as well, and the appropriate water meters, and there's just a number of things in comparison to a well. And I'm not sure if the residents have actually spoke to any well drillers. I'm not 100% sure there. So yeah.
Agreed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do, Ed? Like just a high level estimate?
Yes, it's entirely possible. Yep.
Council?
Through you, Mr. Mayor,
Please, Councilor Emerson.
can I put a motion on the floor to proceed with the cost estimate to service these 4 residents?
Yeah, I think that's exactly where we're heading there, but thank you for that, Counselor Emerson. I'll get the clerk to read out what she's got here, and if you're amenable, you can move it.
Okay,
So let me know if this makes sense. So if we do that, the correspondence from Clara and Vio Cozy regarding water on Glen Erie line be received for information, and that staff be directed to provide an estimate of cost to the affected homeowners, and if interested, present to council the associated steps with implementation for consideration.
to you, Mr. Mayor, I think that's a good motion.
Okay. I was gonna say that gives you enough direction, Ed, like,
It
you mentioned the other things that they are gonna be responsible for their own private lines, service lines in and. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Counselor Emerson, you're willing to move that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Deputy Mayor Weiser, you'll second that? All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. 13.2, reports to council. We have report CAO 4225 by Thomas Thayer, CAO, regarding Elgin County Centralized Planning Services. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this report follows a couple of presentations that council has received over the course of the last couple of years. So council has received a presentation from former Elgin County CAO and also their Manager of Economic Development, Tourism, and Strategic Initiatives during the formulation of what is currently their centralized planning model. And then earlier this year in September, council then again received another presentation. This one was from the current Director of Planning and Development, Matt Vaughn with the county, providing an overview of where they are with their centralized planning service and identifying that Dutton, Dunwich, and Southold so far have been onboarded and are realizing cost savings over what was anticipated. The county is interested in onboarding other municipalities to generate a better economy of scale, which may result in additional cost savings to all participating lower tier municipalities. So council did direct that staff report back in Q4 with further information on transitioning to their centralized planning model. So now that we're into November, the report is before council. The report looks at it from a cost perspective, first and foremost. Council has given us direction for 1.9% on the levy next year. So finding ways to provide a consistent level of service and potentially save a little bit when it comes to contracting costs is something that we looked at. To model what the cost comparison looks like, we had our current consultant, Arcadis, provide us with an hourly range of consultant effort on various types of planning files, and we use the median of each of those ranges for the analysis. Second, we took a look at the planning applications that we've received so far. This is as of the end of October, and then extrapolated that out for the rest of the year. So we're looking at between official plan amendment, zoning bylaw amendments, consents, minor variances, site plan, and plan of subdivision, approximately 70 applications and a total of approximately 720 consultant hours. Now, if we base that on the hourly rates that have been provided by Arcadis and by Elgin County, we note that the Elgin County planning internal hourly rates on average are approximately 38% less. So all else being equal, we assume a similar amount of effort provided to all the different file application types. What it appears is that transitioning over in full for development applications to the county would save the municipality approximately $32,000. And I wanted to make sure that these numbers were relatively accurate. So I went and took a look at the 25 operating budget, and we allocate about $105,000 to consulting fees for planning and development. But this not only includes what we put out for planning consultants, but this is also other professional consultants that we deem necessary. So of this amount, we estimate that between 77 and 87,000 will be attributed to planning. So the estimates in this report are reasonable. They're a reasonable ballpark figure. So this is about a 0.46% levy savings, which is not an insignificant amount, and that's for a full transition over at the start of 2026. Now, because we do have a number of planning files that are ongoing and will continue to be ongoing into 2026, a full transition right away is not a feasible approach. We'd recommend that if council's interested in going in this direction, that we be transitioning over with new applications starting in the new year. Legacy files would continue with Arcadis until they're deemed complete. And then we'd retain those files and the new ones would continue to populate with the county. This report does not include policy planning. So policy planning are things like the official plan review, zoning bylaws. These are accounted for in the capital budget. Generally speaking, they're every 5 years, and they're in the county, the capital budget because they are larger items. We envision that should the municipality be interested in transitioning over, we would finalize the current OP process with Arcadis. We would do the associated zoning bylaw review with Arcadis, and then for the next round of OP and zoning, we move over to the county at that time. So in addition to some cost savings, there are some other additional benefits. We can work with the county to for them to build internal capacity and communicate with them. And what we can also do is benefit from the fact that a number of our planning applications, condominiums, plans of subdivision, consents, official plan amendments, generally go to the county for approval. So there's the possibility for a consistent policy review at both levels of government if the county is leading the process. There is the chance to streamline things a little bit there and make things a little bit cleaner and clearer for applicants. This all being noted, we do not recommend terminating the Arcadis agreement. Arcadis, we envision, would remain on for overflow purposes in cases where the county does not have capacity to address files and requires additional support. We currently have a similar model in place for building services with RSM. So we use them, generally speaking, in times of staff turnover or vacation, or when things are really busy, like they were for a little bit in 2024 and we're over capacity. And worth noting that BAM will continue to staff an internal planning intake. So there's no change to our internal staffing structure proposed. And our planning coordinator position would continue to provide for on-site planning, primary planning intake and coordination with any third-party planning service. And then subject to office capacity, a county planner may be able to attend the BAM office as well as deemed necessary to meet with applicants and staff due to their proximity within the county. So with that, Mr. Mayor, that's the report on Elgin County centralized planning services. I'll leave it with you and council for any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much, Thomas, for that report. I'm going to open it up to council. Any questions? Councillor Chilcott.
Thank you. Just one. I noticed that there's some impact to the timeline. That's why you want to spread it out as we transition. But will we notice any difference in the timeline for the ones that we do handle over, or is it going to be smooth sailing?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to clarify, are you asking about like timelines to process an application? Timelines to process an application are outlined under the Planning Act. So we're legislated by how quickly we need to turn around applications, deem them complete, bring them in front of council. We don't envision any negative impacts to a level of service in that regard.
Thank you.
I think to clarify that as Elgin County builds capacity, then they will be able to take us and onboard us.
Yes.
But so we're gonna have to work with the county to get there. It may not all transition over Jan 1st, but
Yes.
it'll transition in 26.
Yes, and just to further that point, Mr. Mayor, so I have been in conversation with Mr. Vaughn at the county. He's aware this report's coming tonight. Very excited to hear what council's decision happens to be, and we're ready to work on the transition as things get closer to the new year. So this isn't something that's blindsiding him. He's aware it's coming. He's excited for it.
Any other questions? Yep.
Through you,
Councillor
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, through you, Thomas, can you speak please to efficiency, speed of applications, and potential cost savings to applicants?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if there's going to be specific cost savings to residents or to applicants. The planning fee structure is not at this point slated to change. In respect to efficiencies, what we would suspect at this point is that when it comes to certain types of planning applications that go to the county, we'd be receiving the same general planning opinion for lower tier council as would be for upper tier council as well. I think there may be the opportunity along the way, depending on what the capacity is for. I don't want to speak for the county, but I've seen it with other planning models that for a consent, for instance, it doesn't have to go to a committee at the upper tier. Authority is delegated to planning staff if there are no comments and concerns at the lower tier to effectively sign off on a consent. That may be something considered down the road. Again, I don't want to speak for the county on that and what they envision, but I have seen it in other kind of iterative planning models that the county is basing theirs off of as a way to streamline some of the timelines associated with certain applications that require lower and upper tier approval.
Okay, through you, Mr. Mayor, thank you for that. But I was seeming like applications go back and forth, and if it was centralized, maybe we don't need to go back and forth for consent from the municipality after consent from the county, and that thus would speed things up.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I can't speak to whether that would change. Really, what it comes, a lot of the back and forth at the start of the application process is to ensure that the application is complete. And there is generally a lot of back and forth at that time because we do receive applications often that are only submitted in part and they require follow-up or they require some additional information. So I can't speak to whether that would change if we went to the county.
Okay, thank you.
Thomas, can you clarify that if we retain the contract with Arcadis, that there will be no retainer required, simply pay as you go?
It is pay as you go, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of council? All right. Let's wrap this up. We have a motion that reads that report CAO 4225 regarding Elgin County centralized planning services be received for information and that council provide direction. I hate when you write that. But anyway,
yeah, so the question is about a service agreement. There would be a service agreement. I believe they have one with Dutton and Southwold, but we negotiate that as part of it.
let's try that again.
So
That'll work.
if this is what is interested. So that report CAO 4225 regarding Elgin County centralized planning services be received for information, and that the municipality of BAM moves to centralized planning services with Elgin County in 2026 with legacy files continuing with Arcadis until complete, and that a service agreement be presented for enactment.
Does that sound good, Councillor Chilcott? Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Weisler, you'll second? All in favor?
Ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, this is
Thank
a
you.
big
Carried. Item B, report CAO 4325 by Thomas Thayer, CAO regarding the Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua, transition for water wastewater operations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this has been something that we've been working on over the course of the last couple of months since council received some information in closed session. So we've been working with Aqua, and I've been working with our manager of public works and our manager of capital projects on this transition. This transition comes now because of a retirement of a longtime manager with the municipality, Mr. Rolson, who basically built our water wastewater department in 2004. Based on that and some other converging circumstances, I'll say we saw an opportunity to reach out to the Ontario Clean Water Agency to see if there was the interest, the capacity to work with us on a transition subject to council approval. They provided us with a proposal. Some of the costing is summarized in this report. So in accordance with council's direction from the September 4th meeting, we have been proceeding to negotiate and formalize an agreement with Aqua. This would be on a 5-year term, commencing on January 1st for operations and maintenance of BAM's water and wastewater systems. Once this is ready to go, this agreement will come back to council for approval. So tonight we're looking for a motion to approve formally and open the transition so we can keep things moving along with Aqua. The agreement identifies standard levels of service to be provided and includes taking on a leadership role for the drinking water quality management system, reporting requirements, providing overall responsible operators functions while handling other operational tasks aside from the day-to-day taking on locates, for instance, and hydrant flushing duties. And BAM will work with Aqua on standard, minor, and emergency maintenance, with BAM generally coordinating known capital upgrades where required. So a couple of nights ago, we had the capital budget that was approved, and I noted at that time that Aqua has noted no significant capital deficiencies with our facilities. So that is something that they would note on a 3 to 5 year. It's not something that we have to take a look at. So everything in the capital budget right now holds. In regards to the finances, looking at the numbers, the municipality for the water and wastewater rate users stands to save approximately $134,000 per year. This is money that can be reserved. This is money that then will help alleviate some rate pressure potentially when we come into our next 5-year financial plan for both systems. We are in the process of restructuring the supervisor position. That posting is currently out, so that will be kind of an Ed Rollison light position. Capital support, water, wastewater for contract admin, customer service, water meter installs, those sorts of things to provide support similar to what Malahide has with their system. We also get some other areas of support here. So we had talked a little bit at the capital budget about expansion of the water, wastewater, or the wastewater treatment facility. And we have an item in the 2026 capital budget for land acquisition, and that's a placeholder. A couple of things that Aqua provides that we can potentially leverage include stormwater support. Stormwater compliance is not something that we currently have in-house, and it's something that we've generally do by committee by a number of staff members. This is an emerging area of compliance when it comes to water systems. This is something that we could potentially leverage through Aqua because they are expanding their resources in that area. And we can also leverage potentially energy and capital efficiency for water and wastewater facilities. This aligns with our energy conservation and demand management planning. And finally, we can potentially leverage their in-house engineering to look at optimization of our current footprint and our current facilities to see if there's a way that we can increase the design and operational capacity of our plant without having to formally expand, which, as council knows, is a very costly endeavor. So if we can do a little bit of investigative work with Aqua as our partner and optimize what's there for a lesser amount, then that could be a significant win for users on our system. To support the transition, Aqua is already on board. They're working with our water department as part of a transition job shadow to learn how we function, to learn more about our facilities, to get prudent operations information to aid in the transition. They are currently providing us with ORO services to assist in that transition as well. And as noted, they'd come fully on board as of January 1st. Now, why we're here tonight is because we need council to continue the process formally and pass a motion to proceed with a contract on a 5-year term. The contract will come back once it's out of second round legal review. It's currently back with Aqua at this point. And also to improve their operational plan for 2026 for our drinking water systems. This is a limited scope audit for the operational plan, but we do need it so they can do that pre-transition, and then moving forward, it'll be a full operations plan year over year. So, Mr. Mayor, before you is the operations plan as an attachment to this report. We're requiring authorization to formally transition our services over as of January the 1st for the Richmond Community Water Supply System, Municipality of Bayham Distribution System, the Port Burwell Wastewater Collection System, and the Port Burwell Wastewater Treatment Plant. And that council will have to endorse the operational plan, having the mayor and clerk formally authorize the plan. I'd like to turn this around for Aqua tomorrow. And as noted, the agreement will come back with a bylaw once we have the formal agreement after proper legal review. So this is a process that has been on we'll just say it's a short timeline, but circumstances are what they are. We're moving forward in a very swift manner. Things have been going well so far. And we're looking forward to this positive partnership with Aqua for the coming years. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll leave that with you and council for any questions you may have, but seeking that authorization tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that report, Thomas. Does anyone on council have any questions, concerns with proceeding? Sounds like you got your confidence. Okay. We have a motion before us then, and I'll read it off and see where it goes. That report CAO 4325 regarding the Ontario Clean Water Agency Aqua transition for water wastewater operations be received for information. And that council authorizes the transition of water and wastewater operations and maintenance for the Richmond Community Water Supply System, the Municipality of Bayham Distribution System, the Port Burwell Wastewater Collection System, and the Port Burwell Wastewater Treatment Plant to Aqua, effective January the 1st, 2026. And that council endorses the operational plan for the Municipality of Bayham drinking water systems. And that the mayor and clerk be authorized to endorse the operational plan on the municipality's behalf, and that the appropriate bylaw be entered into an agreement with Aqua for operations and maintenance of the Richmond Community Water Supply System, the Municipality of Bayham Distribution System, the Port Burwell Wastewater Collection System, and the Port Burwell Wastewater Treatment Plant on a 5-year term to be presented to council for enactment. Mover and seconder. Councillor Chilcott will move. Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor?
Yes.
On Air Canada.
Carried. Thank you. Item C, report CAO 4425 by Thomas Thayer, CAO regarding temporary use and demolition agreement Baird at 56869 Howie Line. Thank
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is coming forward to council for information purposes under delegated authority. Landowners Owen and Renee Baird at 56869 Howie Line are looking to construct a new dwelling, and they want to live in the existing dwelling. This is a standard process that we handle as it comes up. So we need to enter into a temporary use and demolition agreement. Essentially, what this requires is the prompt issuance of a building permit, and that there is demolition of the old dwelling either 6 months after receiving occupancy for the new, or within 2 years of the completion of construction, whichever comes first. We carry a $10,000 security deposit. This is returned upon demolition and inspection by the CBO. The applicants fail to comply with the agreement, then we use the funds essentially to demolish and remove waste where possible. Any funds required over and above for that due to failure to comply would be applied to the tax roll. So given all this information, we executed the agreement by all parties on the 27th of October. And again, this is delegated authority provided to council for information purposes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions regarding that report? Okay. The motion then reads that report CAO 4425 regarding temporary use and demolition agreement Baird at 56869 Howie Line, Bayham be received for information. Mover and seconder. Councillor Chilcott and Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That is
Yes.
carried. Thank you. Moving on with section 14 of the bylaws. 2 bylaws this evening. Bylaw number 2025-064 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation and Municipality of Bayham and PBR Excavating for the Greywall Drain Works. And item B, bylaw number 2025-065 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation and Municipality of Bayham and 1904730 Ontario Inc., otherwise known as simply Scoops. Any questions on these bylaws? Seeing none, the motion then reads that bylaws numbers 2025-064 and 2025-065 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Moved by Deputy Mayor Weiser, seconded by Councillor Chilcott. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Thank you. We have no unfinished business for the evening. Moving on with section 16, other business. Item A, draft minutes of the October 20th, 2025 Waterfront Advisory Committee meeting. And item B, draft minutes of the October 22nd, 2025 Museum Advisory Committee meeting. Everyone's had opportunity to peruse them. If there are no questions, we have a motion that reads that the draft minutes of the October 20th, 2025 Waterfront Advisory Committee meeting and the draft minutes of the October 22nd, 2025 Museum Advisory Committee meeting be received for information. Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Weisler, Councillor Chilcott, all in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Item C, recommendations to council from the Waterfront Advisory Committee.
I'll take that one, Your Worship, since Thomas wasn't present for this meeting. So as mentioned earlier on in the meeting, the one recommendation we have from the Waterfront Advisory Committee is requesting that council approve another $250 for the 2026 operating budget, assuming that the photographers of the Otter Valley want to proceed with another joint photography contest. So that is put to council for your consideration.
Okay. Any questions by any member of council? Okay, we have a motion that reads that recommendation from the October 20th, 2025 Waterfront Advisory Committee be received for information, and that council approve $250 in the 2026 operating budget towards a photography contest. Moved by Councillor Chilcott, second by Deputy Mayor Weisler. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Thank you. Brings us to 16.1, an in-camera session. I need a mover and seconder for the following, that the council do now rise to enter into an in-camera session at 8:11 p.m. to discuss a confidential item regarding litigation or potential litigation, including members before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, CUPE. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Chilcott and Deputy Mayor Weisler, all in favor?
Yes.
We are carried. Okay. We're going to take a brief recess.